Welcome back to the bench. We're going to freeform bullshit a little bit tonight about transitional stones. We're going to focus on slate, and we're going to look at a couple things, and we're going to do a little honing, sharpening work, and some evaluation. I've been cutting and lapping and selling and trading these stones for a minute now. These are all slates. These all came from the same provenance for me, and I'm still trying to chase that thread all the way down. Because I think this is domestic Connecticut slate. Could be from Vermont too. Slate, as a prolith, is composed of clay that undergoes metamorphic conditions, pressure, and heat. Metamorphism starts at 200 degrees and goes up from there, so you get things like granites and schists and quartz. So this is a typical red clay stone. The reds that I've found, I've used, very pulpy, very soft, not a lot of like tooth to them, but the friability is kind of off the charts. And these purple stones with green eyes, we call them chlorite blooms because it's a chlorite mineral, have been known and used as razor hones and other sharpening tools for a long time. This slate comes from areas close to France. It comes from Vermont and God knows where else. But I discovered a little bit of a Rosetta Stone. I'll say that again for clarity. Rosetta Stone of a stone, which was this purple one with red. And it's like pure red on the back. And then you see this green just starting to be forced in, quite literally. And you're seeing chlorite blooms. And when it swirls, the chlorite crystals are very fine in the purple slates. This can be dressed and used as a stone that is analogous to a 10,000 K grit range. Now this is pure quartzite. This is a hard stone, specific gravity of 2.6. So it's hard. The bonding, the cementation of the crystals is crazy. I would not scientifically call this pure chlorite quartz, but it's chlorite quartz and it's green. So that's what you're seeing. Then we have these stones, but I've just been quartering a little bit. I have a special stone that I'm cutting up, and it has this beautiful mottled texture. These stones were architectural salvage from a home built in 1890, and the back of this paver proves it because you can see the paint drops where the house was painted and blah, blah, blah. So these were paver stones around the perimeter of the house. And we got the full green. Now, just off initial use, the purple is very fine. Softer for a slate a little bit. That's saying something. Slates come from all over the world. There's all kinds of slates. And they're usually pretty good finishing, polishing stones. The slates that come with the ring gear are utterly unique. They just have a unique quality. They're the best for fine edges. Dark gray slates tend to have no tooth. They're a dull, like hard strop. So these purple and greens are interesting colors. And what we have here is I have one that's at auction right now, and can I have it? And this face is dressed into a smooth, fine form factor. Well, this one dressed up a little coarser. I'm not going to miss the green one tonight. So, for our control, study, whatever you want to call it, got two plane irons that are still needing to be lapped. And I'm pretty familiar with the purple stones by now. I know what they can do. Both of these cutting irons for a hand plane. I was just doing some fresh bevel grind, so I have fresh scratch marks on here. I'm using a permanent pen, so I know where I'm removing material. There's no guessing. And then we're going to look at scratch patterns. And I'll make an unqualified opinion of these stones. How fast, how durable, how much more tooth they have. The assumption is that the chlorite crystals are more in bloom in this stone and have a little more tooth. And in truth, lapping them, they're a little harder. It's subtle stuff, but they're a little harder than the purple slates for sure. They take a little longer to lap, but they still make a nice slurry. You do feel, could be wrong, could be subjective, when I was doing the first initial test run of lapping on these, you might feel a little like grit or a grain particle at the quartz side of the slate pull out, so you feel a little crunch, but then it dissolves, and that's not uncommon for certain kinds of sharpening stones, natural sharpening stones, obviously. So already it's breaks right into being smooth and quiet. That fresh face, this is a 60 grit face. You hear the tooth? And right away the slate will quiet down. This is just water. You could use oil if you want, it's not a big deal. And right off the bat, I'm seeing a nice hazy polish. Dare say above haze. I'm seeing fine scratch patterns, very tight striation marks. Let's confirm on a bevel and see what we got. Let me grab a floor mat. Kitchen drawer mat, that's what we mean to say. And I can see some scratches where I leaned into a little bit, and that's okay. There's some slurry and swarf. These stones do make a slurry. Sometimes I really appreciate lighter colored stones because you can see swarf mixing in with your water. It gives you a visual feedback. This is a nice stone. I'm going to say it's in that 6,000 grit range with that dressed, coarse, and finishing. Now we're going to try this stone, which is the same exact stone, literally from the same block that I cut, but it's decked and burnished. So we're going to make sure it's clean. We're going to get those grits out of the way. Looking for a water bottle. 10 water bottles and I can't find one. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna see what the bump is. Yeah, no, we can do the bump after. We're gonna start with this one from 0. And this one I'm not applying hardly any pressure down. I'm letting the blade float. Something that's an underappreciated fact about natural sharpening stones is most of them can have a latitude, I call it a range. Sometimes it's more durable, sometimes it's more fleeting, but it depends on how you dress, burnish, deck your stone. I call it decking. Lapping, decking, rubbing, polishing, honing, sharpening, grinding, these are all terms. But for purposes right now, I'm rubbing. It's not exactly sharp, I'm honing for sure. Wouldn't dare say polish. It's slower, but it is smoother. definitely the metal's bright. I'm seeing less styrations overall. We're going to take the one we did coarsely on this one and see if it can improve on the polish of the first stone. This is about as far as I'm going to go tonight and just gut checking the stone. I'm going to lean a little more into this one. A little more pressure. I like the feedback. There's a little bit of a vacuum. It's very flat. It's smooth, subtle tooth. Yeah, and no real resistance. Some stones resist a little more. It's nice. It's nice. Yeah, if I came in with my A game lapping before I got the stone, I would call this an 8K stone at this level. Nice stone. Can bridge, the upper mid up into the, lower fine range at that 6 to 8K. And 8K edges, 6 to 8K is perfectly adequate to use as a tool edge. Everything else is just perfection and getting a... I mean, I go to edges for a pan plane iron, up to 12K when I can. And that mirror polish on that plane iron will leave mirror polish on the wood. But that's kind of showcase stuff too. Cheers. On Yellow is out.